Today on Home Theater Fanatics, we're going to take a look at the HIFI Rose RS150 network streamer. Welcome back, Fanatics. Today, I've got my buddy Mike from Audio Architects. Hey, Mike.
What's up, buddy?
So he is in the house with me today, and we're checking out a piece of gear from HIFI Rose. And this is the RS150, and this is a network streamer, which is also a preamp. So I guess you would call it a network streaming preamp. I don't know. It does like everything. And we just got finished filming Bookshelf Battle number 5, and we use this along with Rune as the source. And I have to say, it was sounding good. What do you think, Mike?
I think the only thing this thing is missing is an amplifier, because
it really is.
Because it's really an all-in-one solution for anybody that is into streaming and wants to get serious about streaming, and not to mention someone that needs a preamp. You know,
yeah,
you've definitely simplified your signal chain by just using this and an amplifier.
Absolutely.
And you're done.
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, we'll get into this in just a little bit, but not only does this do 2-channel audio, but this will also stream video as well. Now, it doesn't really have apps to pull in like your Hulus and your Amazons, but if you need a file player and you want to listen to things in 2-channel, this will absolutely do it. And I guess maybe to preface everything, let's run through all of the features that this has, take a look at the front and the back, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit. Let's get started with the back of the unit, and this might end up being kind of long because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm going to cover it as quickly as I can. So on the left side, you've got your power input and your power switch. Moving across, you've got an AES in and out, and that's using an XLR style connector. In between that is ARC in. Yes, that's HDMI. So if you've got a television, you can run your HDMI ARC into this unit and use this as the preamp for your TV. Pretty cool, right? You've got coax in and out underneath that. Then you've got optical in and out. Now, remember, in and out. So this thing not only is a streamer, but it's also a preamp. So you plug everything into this guy, use this control volume and select your source, and it's all in there, right? Moving on to the right, you've got your line level input, so you're single-ended. Moving on from your line input, you've got some more outputs. So you've got I2S out, and I've never used I2S out before, but there are 2 flavors on the back of this. What looks like an old DVI connector, plus what looks like an Ethernet connector. Snuggled in between those is a USB in. You've got balanced output and unbalanced output. Moving on to the right, there's a reset button, then a HDMI output for your television or what other device you want to connect via HDMI. There's USB-C, and that's used for updating the unit if you need to. However, you can do that on the wire, so to speak, using the UI and Ethernet. There's USB 3 ports, and you can use that to connect external storage or a CD transport. There's a USB port for a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth dongle, which I did use, and it's very effective. I streamed everything using Wi-Fi on this, and it was great. There's a micro SD card, which you can use as additional internal storage, and then finally an Ethernet port. Now let's go over the front panel. We'll get started at the top, where you first have source selection. So you can use this as well as the remote control or the app to select a source. The rose icon will always take you back to that front panel. From there, you can look at notices to see if you've got any new firmware versions or any other notice from Rose. You have Bluetooth settings. Your DNLA service can be reset if you would like. AirPlay, and then your Wi-Fi status. Now, this is touchscreen, as you can see. You can also scroll through all of your different icons. And this is all configurable, but this is what I've got set up as of right now. You can go into your video if you want to play, and you would configure your settings for your network shares, and then it would classify those and make those available to you. Rose Podcast allows you to play assorted podcasts. You have Tidal, and I don't have these logged in, of course. Qobuz. RoseTube, which is a YouTube similar service. You can play music back from your file shares or from local storage in the unit. Internet radio is available. This is another option to get to the source and output selection panel. You can play CDs, and I have a USB attached CD transport here at the top. This is also the same CD player that you would use to rip. Ripping would be here. You can get into settings, and there are a plethora of settings that I am not going to go through. There is a ton of stuff in here. Rose Store, which allows you to install additional applications. Remember, this is running Android. You have a FM tuner. Clock. And that brings us back to video. So lots and lots of goodies that you can do with this unit, and it looks absolutely stunning while you're doing it. On the right hand side, you have your power button as well as volume and mute. You can mute here, and then your volume you can then adjust. Now that you know about the features and capabilities of the unit, and they are extensive, I mean, this thing does everything, let's cover some topics specifically. And I think probably the thing that jumps out the most when you first see this is the aesthetics. And this thing looks amazing. What do you think?
I'm kind of jealous, man, because I really, really like this full panel screen. I think that
it's touchscreen too.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's
so if I want to look at the clock, boom, clock.
Yeah.
It's Friday, the 16th. Yeah, I don't even know how to go back. Another thing I like about the aesthetic is the abstract, minimalist rose that goes along with the rose, branding. I think their branding's on point. I think the sleek, metal, brushed metal on top.
And it's all aluminum, and it's super heavy.
The ridges on the side. I mean, it almost looks like a home theater PC, if you didn't know any better.
Well, if you think about it.
It kind of is.
So, okay, let me break this down a little bit, why I really like this thing so much. So this is a very high technology piece of gear, right? And I was talking to one guy about this, and he said, oh man, look at that overbuild case. There's gonna be nothing inside of it. This thing is packed full of guts, and I'll drop an image up so you can see everything that's inside here. But it runs off Android, and it's like they took something like a NVIDIA Shield, right? And then squished it in with super high quality DAC and squished it in with all the technology that you need to use in 2-channel. And if you remember back to the back panel of this, it's got every kind of input and output that you could ever consider. And it does HDMI. And then when you wrap it inside of this aluminum chassis with this touchscreen front panel, it's gorgeous. I mean, this is superb.
It's funny because in the camera, I keep looking at the back of it. Now, the reason I'm looking at the back of it so much is that I cannot believe how much they fit on this back panel. Any component you see will have a few things, your XLRs, your RCAs, yada, yada, yada. This thing has everything. Like, they didn't leave anything out. Literally, everything. It has ARC in. Is that an HDMI out?
It is, yeah. So when you want to stream video, since this is network capable, you can point this toward a file share, and you can use that to play DSD music, but you can also play MKVs or whatever other file type you have, and attach this to a television. You could input this into an AVR if you wanted to, but I think really this is going to be for someone who wants to have some type of really high quality 2-channel environment, and then the television isn't the primary piece, but they also wanted to be able to watch video. Now, if you wanted to, you could watch the video in the front panel. Yeah, so it plays it here, and then you can have it play on the front panel and on your television as well. Yeah, it does. I mean, it does everything.
This thing's wild, man. And okay, so for those that are, let's say I'm interested, what is the price point roughly, ballpark? Because I know prices fluctuate in hi-fi, but how much could someone expect to pay for something like this?
The cost on this unit is about $5,000 US, so this is definitely not for the faint of heart. I mean, this is high end, so you're in a top end piece of gear. They do have lower cost equipment available, and I believe there's actually even a newer version of this one out now as well. But I'm not sure about the price point there. So, this is for the hardcore audiophile that's looking for a few things in particular. They want high technology, so they want this kind of look. They don't want a bunch of dials. They want a beautiful panel that's touchscreen. It has an awesome app that gives you full control from whatever mobile device that you have, or you can put it on a tablet, and I use that quite a bit. It also has a Bluetooth remote control that works well, so it's not IR, it's not directional, so it's very easy to control from that point of view. And it does everything that you could think that you would want a streaming device to do. So you have native support for Tidal Qobuz. It's also a Roon endpoint, and you can pipe most things through Roon. It'll play your files natively, so you can point this toward a network share, and this has built-in Wi-Fi. It also has Ethernet on the back, and it'll play both music and video files, as I said before, over the network.
It even has a micro SD card.
Right, and then
for whatever.
Yeah, and if you really want this to be a self-contained unit, you can flip this over, and on the bottom, you can install a hard drive.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like SSD, or does it have space for a full?
No, SSD,
Okay.
the 2.5 inch style, not the big ones. Now, this also has other features that are really interesting. I mean, there's no way that I can cover everything that this does in one video. This is a side level, and I really encourage anyone that's interested in this to go to the website and check it out, because there'll be a full list there. But this also can have a USB attached CD player, and you can use that as a CD transport. Now, if you want to just do CD transport, you can do optical in, you can do coax, or any of the other ways, and use the DACs in here. And in most cases, the DACs here will be better unless you're into a really high-end CD player. However, if you want to rip your music, this does it for you. I believe the limitation there, though, is that it has to be a USB attached CD player.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is wild.
It does everything.
This is absolutely wild. Price tag, a little high for me. I think they definitely should introduce something into the market that can compete with like the Blue Sounds of the world and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I don't think this is meant for that.
It's not.
This is meant to be like the Ferrari of music streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know other high-end companies have music streamers, and I've looked into them and stuff like that, but nothing this involved, nothing this extensive. Like, I feel like the designers, and this is made in Korea, which I haven't seen too many hi-fi companies out of Korea.
No, it's not as common as you'd see maybe in Japan, but if you look back, Mike and I actually did an interview with Hi-Fi Rose a while back, so you can go back and listen to their thoughts on this unit and the company in general if you're interested in learning more there.
Super nice people.
Yeah, very
I like
cool.
them a lot.
Very cool.
And they have great representation here in the States. So, man, overall, I've heard it now because we just did our bookshelf comparison, and I think that went great, and we used this device. And I got to tell you, don't take offense to this, but from what you were using to this, you can hear an audible difference.
It is absolutely different, and this is a huge step up and a huge step forward in my 2-channel environment. But I almost feel bad putting this into a 2-channel environment because it can do so much more. I mean, this is great, like I said, for 2-channel, but it does all your video as well. So I feel almost compelled to put it in an environment that has a screen. But for today, it's solidly here in 2-channel world, and it sounds absolutely superb.
This is cool.
Yeah, I think we're down to the final word at this point. So for me, super expensive, $5,000, a lot of money. This is targeted at the enthusiast at a low level. I mean, that's like, you got to be at least an enthusiast to jump in, and really probably toward the audiophile. But this is not your classic audiophile equipment. This is high technology, and it has that high technology look. And for me, so I'm running this beside the Cherry Megashino Mark II, which also I consider to be kind of a new wave, high-end, Class D amplifier that's new, right? And I really like the way these work together. So that's where I recommend this at. So if you're that kind of person that's not necessarily looking for a classic design, looking for retro gear, you want something that sounds as good as it possibly can, but is also as forward-looking and new as it possibly can be, this is it. Save up those dollars.
I'm telling you, Giles, I think it's all about matching products with products. Like,
yeah.
You keep, trial and error, you finally find something you're really comfortable with. And to be honest, the pairing between this and the Cherry amp was superb.
Yeah, and then from a personality point of view, I think this is, for me, this is how I want to do 2-channel.
This speaks to you, yeah.
Yeah, this is how I want to do it, right? I love good sound, but this, for me, when I see it, I feel that pride of, look what I got, look at this thing, it's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely a pride of ownership,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be, I think there's a great future for Hi-Fi Rose, and I think this is a great player, so I look forward to seeing more content and more stuff from them and from you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Yeah, so everybody make sure to like and subscribe Audio Architects. Check them out. They're all over the web at Audio Architects. And you know me, Home Theater Fanatics. If you haven't yet, go ahead, hit the button, ring the bell, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, because this, I think, is polarizing, right? There's going to be a set of people that are like, I don't want a big LCD screen on my hi-fi gear, and then there's going to be people like me that are like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, right? Best thing since sliced bread. So drop a comment down below, let us know what you think, and with that, we'll call it a day, and as always, see you guys in the next video.
Soon.